Welcome to this HelloID webinar brought to you by Tools Forever. Today we'd like to give you an overview of the new functionality in HelloID. We encourage you to ask questions. You can do this via the WebEx chat option. You can find the option here. At the end of the demonstration, your questions will be answered. I'd like to turn this over to Tjeerd Seinen, HelloID Product Manager. He will explain and demonstrate the new HelloID functionality. Enjoy, and don't forget to post the questions.
Okay, Jamie, thank you for the introduction. Welcome all today. Today I'd like to run through 4.7 and give you a heads up of all the new, challenging and exciting new information we have released last Sunday. So that's the 4.7 release. Okay, again, I'd like to show you a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation, and then I'd like to show you the new functionality in the portal. Today, the major stuff I'd like to cover is provisioning, including the mapping. There was already provisioning available, but now it's really graphical and easy to manage. And I'd like to show you in detail all the information that is currently available. Despite I already introduced that in the last webinar, but it's not yet available. So we have to wait another version to version 4.8 to show you workflow management. So sorry for that. The next release, 4.8, will include workflow management and fine-grained events. Fine-grained events is another extension on the provisioning and will make provisioning a lot more powerful as it is already today. Okay, please know that there is docs.helloid.com, the section changelog, where you can find more detailed information about what I'm covering today. That is also including videos and more structured and professional created like this webinar. Okay, so let me go through the functionality. I created one slide. Important to know that this is part of provisioning. This is not part of HelloID access management, so this is another module in HelloID. If you don't have purchased provisioning, then you don't have access to this technology. The majority of our clients have access management, and that's another module in HelloID. This is the provisioning module. Okay, so let me explain the functionality I'm going to show you today. Is that I want to provision from HR, so if something is changing in HR, it can be also, by the way, all sorts of systems. It can be a planning system, a service bus, data warehouse, hospital information system, student information system, any system. So this is actually the source of your changes in your network. And the network is represented by the Active Directory. Again, there can be Azure AD, Office 365, SIP, any sort of system. In this example, I use HR Sync to AD. And that can, of course, be done by HelloID. And the majority item, the major item here is the vault. So basically, the information is going to be synced from HR into the vault and to Active Directory. So how does this work? And this is all being made graphical. I will show you in the software a little bit later on how this actually is working. So a major item here is that there is an HR connection. The HR connection is basically setting up the connection string to HR. And another item here is the mapping information. So if information is being retrieved via the connection from the HR system, that's being represented as a data set. Another way you want to synchronize it to is the HelloID Vault, and that is being represented by this set. The mapping is basically doing attribute mapping from this side to this side, and this is completely flexible. I will show you in a minute how this looks like in the software. This can be executed by a task, a sync task. You can specify multiple tasks. You can also set up multiple sources. So this is HR, but you can also specify this again for planning. So this can be duplicated, but the sync tasks can be duplicated as well, because these tasks have parameters, and the parameters are being fed into this process. So for example, you can run the task for, and I have an example for, I run one part of my HR system for the Dutch people, but also another one, so it's another task for the USA people. So basically I have two tasks running the same set here. And I can run this instantly, I will show you, and there's a run now, and of course I can schedule that. So it runs every 5 minutes or hour or at midnight. So if this is being executed, the connection is being set up, the mapping is being set, and information is synced from HR into the vault. If a change is being executed here, the events will be triggered. And in this example, I will fire off the created event, but it can also, if an update has been happening here, it fires off the update, and of course can also be the deleted event. This will trigger, and that's the same, it set up an AD connection, that's the AD connection string to AD, and the same thing happens again with the mapping information, but now it's the other way around. It's a target mapping where information from the vault is being mapped onto information in the Active Directory, and you can specify exactly what the translation and mapping of that information is. Okay, so this is all theoretically, and of course I'd like to show you the nice piece of software. So now I'm logged into the portal as admin, and here is a new section. In automation you have this option now, systems, and in the systems menu you can start adding new systems, and I have a source system, HR demo, and a target, the Active Directory. And if you like, you can add more systems to the configuration, and this is a very limited set, but in the coming months we will be adding more and more systems to HelloID. If you have any requests, please send that to us, and then we will add your system of choice to this catalog. So for now it's a limited set. Here you specify the connection string. So this is the connection to the HR demo, and this is the connection string to the Active Directory. Relatively simple, straightforward. More interesting is here the provisioning, because here you have the systems again, and they show up as a source system, the HR demo, and a target. That's the Active Directory. From here, this is more or less of a dashboard for the provisioning. Here you can see what information has been synced into the vault. And if you like, I can make a modification to the HR system and create a new user in the HR system, and then it will be populated to the Active Directory. So let me create a new user, and I will verify if it's not already there. I will create Mr. Smith. Does not exist yet. So let me create that user, onboard him in the new system. So I'm switching over to the HR demo system, and I will start creating a new user, John Smith, and I will onboard, give him a contract in the company, John Smith, and put him on consultancy as a designer, as a full-time employee. So now he is created into the HR system. If I check here in the Active Directory, he does not exist yet, of course, because I have not synced the information from HR into HelloID. So let's do that first. So I can run here, I run the task, and that's a task for synchronizing information from HR demo into the HelloID vault. So I need to wait until that's been finished. So it's connecting, syncing information, and now I just have to still running. I still have to wait until that's finished and completed. And now it is complete. In the meanwhile, I go here. I can see that this should go up. If I refresh, it should go to 57. There you go. If I click here, you can see John Smith, and look in the open details, and this is the information, designer, consultancy. So this is all correct. This is information that came from the HR demo system and is being imported into the HelloID vault. I can put the plus sign, you can see that he is created as a new user in the person history, in the person vault in HelloID. So still straightforward. And the event, I can see that there is a new created user, and I can see actually look at more detailed log information and see that the user is actually being created as John S. So let me look up if he really exists. And there he is. This is John Smith, and this is completely provisioned from HR demo, my demo environment, into the Active Directory with all the correct settings that has been set in HelloID. So let me show you how you parse that information, how you can configure that, because that's really powerful. The first option is to map information from the HR demo onto the vault. So here I specify what information is coming from HR demo and is being put into the vault. And here you have all the options. I can actually see I created some custom fields, and here you can just specify, and I created here an extra field, city. Let me remove that field, for example. So this is the field. Now it's gone, and it should be gone here. Now it's gone as well. So please note that all these fields, you can make the structure as complicated as possible. I created here an extra field, business2, as part of the email. And let me show you that you can use that in the target mapper. Saving it, so removing the city2. Now I'm in the Active Directory, so I'm switching over from HR demo to the vault, from the vault to the Active Directory. Then I have the target mapping. In the target mapping, I can use that business2. Let me see where it is. Here it is. So here I'm actually using that email address that was formatted into the vault and use it as a target email address. If I am using the original one, you can actually see that it is changing here. So based on the information, I can directly see what the impact of the change is. So now I'm using alternative email address. I can also look up Mr. Smith. I just created that user. Here it is. So I can actually browse live at the information for John Smith and see, here's his email address. So this is the original email address coming from the HR system, and this is my formatted email address. And actually, now you can also see live that how that information is being used. So that's a very powerful instrument, and I can just change that. And the good thing is that being used for all. So let me cancel this because I have not made any changes. This target mapping is being used for creation, but also for updating the AD user. So if I go to automation, events, and I go to the created, here, so that mapping information is being used here. Here, provisioning system, and it's also being used here. So if I make here, update user, here. So the good thing is that the creation, update, and also the deletion is being shared among all these processes and tasks. So if I make a modification in one place here, is being changed in every Active Directory action. So actually for create and update in this particular example. So that makes it very easy to make a setup and make the configuration, and it's very easy to use the target mapping. Okay, so this is also being used in automation, the task history, so you can actually view, so there was a creation of the user. This was of course the John Smith that was being created. So here is the process log again. So it's very transparent, very easy to configure, as you already was used to when you were working with HelloID. So this is the end of my webinar, or at least the demo of the software I like to show you. I see there are some questions. Jamie, can you repeat the questions for me? Let me switch also over. Hold on, Jamie. I switch over to my PowerPoint presentation. Jamie, what were the questions?
We have 4 questions that have been submitted for you. The first one is, we are an IAM customer and we have just implemented provisioning. When can we transfer over to HelloID, and what are the license consultancy costs?
That is an interesting question. You just purchased IAM, you finished the implementation, and you're wondering when you can move over to HelloID, what the license costs are, and consultancy. I think it's worthwhile to wait a little bit, because the HelloID functionality compared with IAM is not as strong or not as good as currently available in IAM. It will take at least till the end of this year, perhaps even another 1 or 2 quarters next year before HelloID has the same functionality as IAM. So for now, I would say that it's not interesting to move over on a very short term. From a license cost perspective, it's interesting that you can migrate over for free, because if you have bought the technology once from Tools Forever, you can just migrate easily without any additional cost from one product to the other. Consultancy-wise, there is an extra investment because it's not an automatically migration from IAM to HelloID, so some configuration work needs to be redone. I think the good news there is that a lot of research and configuration items that we have to test and find out are already being done in IAM, so that's just a lot easier to do that again in HelloID. So it will be a very quick implementation job. Okay, so the other questions, Jamie.
Is it already possible to apply a naming convention? For example, to deal with the duplicate names in the network?
No, currently today there is no naming convention algorithm available in HelloID. So it's just plain and simple retrieving the ID information from an HR system and putting that one-to-one into the network. But in the coming releases, and I expect it's going to be 2 or 3 releases from today, so somewhere in Q3 this year, there will be a naming convention algorithm, and of course a lot more algorithms, and that's going to be part of the JavaScript mapping language. And so there's going to be advanced functions to create naming conventions. But straight answer to the question, no. Currently today, there is no naming conventions to deal with duplicates. That will be in Q3 this year. Next question, Jamie.
The software looks really good. Is it possible to create accounts in other systems than Active Directory?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Yes, that is possible. I just showed you how to create and update accounts in Active Directory, but we have a lot more connectors already available for Azure, for Office 365, for Salesforce, etc., etc. So we're adding more and more connectors. I think we have more than 100 connectors or actions, not connectors, but actions already available today, and they are part of the product catalog. You can find them if you're logging in as admin in the portal. The next question, Jamie.
We currently use Umra for provisioning. Can we migrate over to HelloID provisioning?
So you are an Umra customer using Umra for provisioning, and you asked the question if you are able to migrate over to HelloID. That's more or less the same answer as I answered to the IAM question. That was, I think, the first question today. And I don't think it's wise to migrate over. However, it depends on the functionality you're currently using today. If that is very, very simple, very straightforward, it might be an option to do that with HelloID. But it's probably better to wait a couple of releases until it's a good time to start evaluating the possibilities to migrate over. It does matter how much functionality you already have configured in Umra, and that varies a lot. And we need to investigate that and to see if it's wise to migrate over to HelloID. I think if you want a simple, straight, quick answer, I would say that you have to wait until the beginning of next year to start that evaluation. Okay, thank you for your time and attention. I think this is the last question. Yes, it is. So thank you for your time, and have a very nice weekend. Okay, bye-bye.